Yo. Oh man, my freaking shoulder hurts so bad. Ay, 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 ay. I think I got a torn rotator cuff. I think it's official. Oh. What's more painful is my shoulder, not Bitcoin. My shoulder. Whatever you do, guys, when you get to a certain age, don't do military presses anymore. It's dangerous. Keep everything on low weights. Don't push yourself in anything. That includes going 500x on Bitcoin. What's UNC? I still sound young. Well, I'm old enough to tell you that I can still do cursive. Hello. My name is Eric. Do they still teach cursive in school? Let's do it, boys and girls. Oh yeah, I'm getting old, man. I can still do cursive. My shoulder's getting effed up. Sleeping like 3 hours a day. Taking fiber supplements. Welcome, everyone. Make sure to hit the like button. How do you guys like my cursive skills? I'm on a high protein diet, but yeah, I effed up my shoulder like 4 months ago, I think, and it's still not healing. I got an MRI, but yeah, it's not doing anything. They said it's fine, so I might get a second opinion. Oh, wow. Someone tell me if we hit 50 likes, and then we'll get started. I was gonna do some piano, but it's freaking 2:30, man. It's 2:30 in the morning. Maybe if it's like 10, 9. Alright, let's do it, boys. Let's do it. Today's live stream. Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. I am so grateful for your support. So, please, just do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe. I sacrifice my days in and out every day to update these charts for you. Please, do it. What's going on, boys and girls, or whatever you identify as? Make sure I get the full spectrum of gender so I don't label any of you as misgendering. Vitamin D and some calcium and some joint supplements. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take some of my I think I have another bottle of MGM and glucosamine. Alright, let's do it. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. It's not looking so great. Right now, Bitcoin is currently in a possible wave X, and we've been discussing the possibilities of breaking this low here. We're very close to breaking this low here at 81,500. And it's not looking great. It's definitely not looking like some kind of extended triangle. We're either completed for a triangle here, or we're creating one more low and then another 5-way move to the upside as an expanded flat. And then we move to the downside. And that is our all scenarios. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not sick. Just hold on. I'm trying to get all the people in here. Let me get a drink of water. Hold on. YK, you need some or something? All right, boys. So let's get started right now. First of all, welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining. Please show your support by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does mean everything to me. Yeah, I don't know if you guys and girls have seen the latest video analysis, or if you're following me on social media, it's probably a good time to do so because you guys are not going to be getting these live streams quite often. I think this is the second live stream of the week, but yeah, that's actually kind of a miracle because I usually don't have time to do these live streams, but I'm just doing it because Bitcoin is currently at a pivotal level now. So we've been discussing the idea of how this X wave could be created. We can definitely narrow down the scenarios quite easily. We've been narrowing the scenarios down for quite a bit, right? If you guys go to my pinned analysis, we talked about another rejection around here, right? For all the scenarios. And we were looking for further downside. Now, that could have been transforming into a current range, which most likely turned into that triangle. And right now, that seems to be the most likely case for the triangle being in play. Or we do have an option that can still bring our X wave possibly a little bit higher for another liquidity sweep. But that requires another sweep of the bottom before we come up. Now, basically, it's three scenarios. The first scenario here is just GG. We're just going down now, and we create some kind of ABC to the downside. It's still a little bit iffy here on how we can be counting this range here. We just need to really at least create some kind of completion, or at least the beginning wave of something, which is either a wave A or this is a wave C of some sort, right? So if that's the case, this would be another option where we get another liquidity sweep to the upside, because arguably we haven't hit that major Fibonacci level of the 61.8, but we don't need to. We definitely don't need to. An X wave requirement, usually it's even below this 78.6, because that subjectively puts us into the territory very close to some kind of combo idea, right? That you guys are all curious about. So yeah, right now, this move here into a W, ABC of some sort, and then another ABC to the upside, that will complete an X wave, and then another ABC to the downside would be a possibility. So yeah, thank you very much for joining, everyone. For those that are just joining, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yeah, and what we could be observing now is pretty close to some kind of pivotal level resolvement. This, where we don't break the low and we create an X, or it's done. Like, it's completely done. Now, the flat idea is very simple. It's just instead of a wave W, it's now an A, because you're deeming this sequence as a 3-3-5. And if we create some kind of divergences being made on this move here, then we can start treating this as a possible level of interest at that $70,000, because that will be our second time coming into that $70,000 for good, right? So we'll definitely find some levels of interest here if the markets would like to see that area of interest, right? And then again, we're still going to be looking for further downside for another wave I. I don't see any potential bottoming action here other than this being a WXY to the downside. Now, we do have a possible completed triangle here for the wave X, but we have a little bit of a dilemma here because, well, first of all, let's talk about the dilemma for the bullish scenario. Now, this idea is completely out. I mean, I'm glad we discussed the possibility of this scenario, but I hopefully I gave everyone the educational approach on why these are really low in probability, especially when you have 3 or 4 bearish scenarios outweighing the bullish scenarios. So this idea is completely out of the picture, and you guys can argue for, you know, the possibility of this being an expanding leading diagonal, but that's the lowest probability of all, right? And that is the last remaining bullish scenario anyways. So that is completely out of the picture. So what does that do? This means that this wave 4 is now officially deleted. Sayonara, goodbye. And now we are just remaining with how this X wave is going to be resolved. That's it. It's that simple. Now, how are we going to fit in, and goodbye as well for this, and then how are we going to fit an X wave in? So we got to do another zoom out on the daily time frame. Let's say that X wave triangle has completed. So that's where the dilemma comes in for the X wave, for the triangle idea, because if we have a triangle idea completed here, it doesn't really have the best look, right? If we just come down and just say that this was an ABC X and then Y, we ideally want some kind of identifiable X wave on the larger time frames, right? So what we could do is still assume that some kind of X wave is in play, and then create, if we pull up the bar patterns chart, where are you at? Where are you at, brother? Where you at? Where is it? There we go. We still want some kind of partner leg of some sort, right? And just based on time alone, we could create this X wave, and that'll eventually kind of give us the mitigation on the timing issue as well. So does that mean the shorter time, now we have to really be focusing on even the shorter time frames, which is this X wave really complete or not? So there is the merit that the X wave can be complete with a really nice looking triangle, but at this stage, it might be part of something else, just due to the complexity of the triangles. But how would that fit into a larger perspective? If we look at the larger X wave, we ideally would like to have this X wave extended a little bit, so we could ideally still be supported above this region here, create that WXY to the upside, or a flat as an ABC. And this would be the ultimate resolve scenario. So if we come back down, get another sweep, get another 5-way move up, fake out everyone, this support turned resistance will now act as resistance, and then we'll get one more ideal move to the downside, and this will act as ultimate resistance or support zone. So that's the way of looking at it, in my opinion. I think the way of seeing this is extending this X wave on the macro, but there is merit that the X wave can be completed if we're zoomed in completely. So that's why I like to do a top-down analysis, really give ourselves the overall perspective on, timing issues, and also, I think the more you zoom in, the timing issue becomes less prevalent. Of course, it's still applicable, but I like to work with overall symmetry with wave 1-2s and 3-4s. So with that being said, I think the higher probability at this stage is that we create a flat, get a sweep of the bottom, get a sweep of the top, and then come back down for an ABC. And as you can see, that's looking quite nicely against the parent degree wave 1-2s as well, right? So that's that. And then what is the con to this? What is the con? So I think right now a lot of people, even though they're expecting support for wave 1-2, the dilemma arises in the sense that the only way to fit in some kind of WXY is that it could fit into only a larger degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's essentially extremely bullish. So the question that boils down to is, are you still bullish? Is the bullish cycle still in play? Now, that's another subcategory of analysis that you have to be making, fundamentally and technically. Technically, the only way we can fit it from an LUA perspective is that this 5-way move is going into the wave 1, and then this wave WXY is going into an intermediate degree wave 2 of this primary 5th wave. And then this will be an extremely profitable wave, arguably just as profitable as this wave over here. All right? So if you were still working with this narrative, the macro structure still is showing us that it's very, very bullish. So $60,000 to $70,000 is going to be in a very important range for everyone to make sure. That's definitely the last level that we really want to be supporting, right? And that will be the continuation of the bull market. Now, that's questionable, right? It's like we've already adjusted this once. We had the opportunity to have a 3-4 and then a 5th wave to the upside. But now we're adjusting this to a higher degree, right? So again, that boils down to the question on if you're bullish and is this considered a pipe dream? To me, I think that we're still, it's hard to say that we're still in a bullish continuation. I mean, the only real evidence that we can get or pull out of this is the dollar. And the dollar even closed very bearish on Friday. This has been following our pathway quite nicely. It's obviously, a 5-6% move to the downside is something not to joke about. It's definitely a strong reaction. We've retraced this whole move basically that we started from here, right? So this is telling in its own right in terms of the narrative. I think a lot of people see this as good news. So that's one check off the major checklist, right? And then altcoins. A lot of altcoins, arguably, I would say the blue chip coins most notably, is showing very bullish structure still. So if we go to XRP, for example, we're still in a technical bullish structure, even if we do break the previous technical low, which is still in a 1-2. And we'd still be well above levels that would be considered any invalidation or off-putting the right look of some kind of Elliott wave structure. I think we are still well within the confines of what could be a bullish move to the upside. Ethereum, a little bit on the fence here. It's a little bit dangerous here. We might have to extend this. where this was a wave 1, 2, 3, and we may be working for another move to the downside, which could be a 3, and then this would be a 4 of some sort in the making. We don't know exactly. We'll see. We'll have to see how this plays out. But really, this is even pushing it too. So even Ethereum is not aligning with the narrative of how we're seeing for Bitcoin. So it's getting quite increasingly difficult to match everything, right? The DXY, or the dollar, is really the only last sort of remaining idea that could be helping us push this narrative of, continue to the upside. But even with the dollar already pushing it and Bitcoin not reacting to it, it means that investors are most likely sitting on their hands no matter how bearish the dollar may be. Right now, I think a lot of people are just starting to figure out, okay, it's not time to get into Bitcoin, especially in the light of all the great news that we had at a bottom. We had the crypto summit, we had the crypto reserve announcement. I mean, those two things, the news are not reacting to it. So this is also another friendly reminder that news-driven price action is not the bread and butter of what we're seeing for cycles, ladies and gentlemen. They are just a supplement. It's like taking a protein supplement. A lot of people think that, just taking 21 grams of protein from your optimum whey protein powder is enough to build muscle. It's not. It's just there to supplement you. And the same thing with this. It's the same idea. These news-driven price action fundamentally does help build a narrative, but it doesn't build the overall catalyst on what is going to be happening for a bear market. Because I can tell you from previous bear markets is that there was no real news-driven moves other than the Luna crash and the FTX crash. The bear market was coming no matter what. It's just a mass psychological, that is, collection of the market participants. And right now, it's not sell-off or a major pump because we're at a stage where all the investors are not buying or selling. They're just sitting on their hands. So that's why we can also conclude that some kind of X wave is in the play and market sensitivity is at its peak. So what does that lead me on to? There is the possibility that we are in a bear market now. Now, I know this is not something that you guys want to be hearing, but the markets will eventually align with each other and synchronize on how this is playing out. Because here, what we had for what could have been an WXY is now seen as an impulse here, as a 5-wave move going into a wave 1. And if this is a wave 1, ladies and gentlemen, you just got your first taste of blood. You haven't even experienced, for those that are new, what real pain is. That's where that Wall Street cheat sheet comes in here. It'll be a lot of denial happening on these bounces here, especially when people think that this is some kind of major rally beginning to the upside. We'll see a lot of Elliottians also considering that. But if this is a wave 1, 2, oh my God, this would be so destructive because it not only lead us down to $40,000 or $50,000, that's just the beginning. And the next level that we're looking for is around $30,000 to even possibly $20,000, retracing the whole bear market. And that'll be brutal in the sense that it'll take a very long time to do so as well. It'll be extremely brutal. And this isn't just an idealized structure. It'll possibly be even extended in time because we simply do not know how an ABC is playing out. And it's usually not even an ABC. It's usually complex. The previous bear market was a WXYXZ, right? And the previous bear market was not even just that. It was a triangle for the B wave. That was painful. So is this the next bear market? Can that fit into the current narrative? It can, because if we go into the overall market perspective of the macro, I don't think I have the chart. Yeah. Well, I'll have to pull it up somehow sometime. Oh, there we go. Here. The fifth wave is deemed complete. And we're now in the larger intermediate cycle of the cycle, basically. It means that we're done. And there is all the evidence is there. The evidence is showing us that we do have a completed 5-wave move up. And in fact, this is one of the best Elliott 5-wave structures that we've had for the entire, Bitcoin's history, in my opinion. If we're considering this as a 5-wave move, it's Fibonacci's being quite heavily respected. We have near equal wave 1 and 5 in length. If Elliott was alive right now, he's probably spitting in his grave right now because he's saying, "Get out. We have a clear 5-wave move to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. Get out. Get out." That's what he's saying in his grave right now, because there is a pretty clear possibility that this is now part of a 1-2 pullback. I mean, in terms of the timing, we were ahead of schedule for the bull market, and we could just as easily be ahead of schedule for a bear market, But we do have a clear 5-wave move to the upside, and Ralph Elliott in his grave right now is saying, "Get out of the markets, man, get out." So, do you believe that a 5-wave is complete? Let's do a poll here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do a poll. How do I do a poll here? There we go. Is Bitcoin in a bull or bear market? Bull, bear. Oh, what the heck? Can anyone see the poll? Ladies and gentlemen, can you guys see the poll? Okay. Well, vote for what you guys think is the answer. Let me pull that back up. Let's get an ad in here as well. Huh. Strange, I can't see the poll. Oh well. You guys get the point, right? Someone give me the answers later. But anyways, yeah. So I'm giving you guys the highest probabilities here. Like, we have one of the cleanest 5-wave moves to the upside right now, arguably. So objectively, we may be entering a bear market. This is just the beginning structures, basically, right? How many times do you want to adjust what could be a fake move of a continued narrative to the upside? How many times do you want to adjust that? Do you want to adjust it, 50 million times and just say that we're in a final 5th wave to the upside? And that is where the danger comes in, ladies and gentlemen, because, like I said, from past mistakes that I also accumulate, not only from myself, but from what I have observed in the past bear markets, is that too many people have adjusted their final targets at the last stage of the bear market or the bull market. And you'd be surprised, the 5th waves are usually the easiest of the bunch to change. Because first of all, you can assume a 5th wave is still going to extend. You can still assume that you may be in a new beginning degree. But many people don't want to agree for the fact that there may be an end of something, right? So are we going to say that a clear 5-wave move to the upside is complete? And there is a lot of merit to this idea, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot of merit to this. This is very good looking structure from an Elliott wave perspective. But again, we could still fit in a extended fifth to the upside. But to me, that is a pipe dream. I mean, right now, I'm just playing it level by level. If this turns correctively or impulsively. If it turns impulsively, there's a very easy fix. We don't even need to say that we're in a WXY anymore. There's most likely a very impulse is going to be a 1, 2, 3 to the downside. It's very clear. Because I don't think that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be going into a wave A and a B and then a C to the downside that ends here. That just ends it completely. I think that would be the beginning of a 1, 2, 3 in my opinion, which means that it would be playing out as this. Remember the larger time frame, wave 1. This is the impulse. 5-way move into wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that this is going into a wave A, a wave B, or a wave C, because it doesn't matter. It still has that same idea of that WXY scenario. This one. It doesn't matter. That's why I like this overlapping the structure. And that's why we as Elliotticians, and hopefully you guys that are learning from me, we must use organizational skills that we are able to apply to the markets. We must use organizational skills. Now let's go into some questions. BTC RSI is pretty low. I think we're close to a bounce. Let's check the RSI. It is quite low, huh? But that's the hourly chart. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Yeah, we're still in neutral territory. Daily, oof, doesn't look like even reached the 17 to the 20 levels. Weekly, oof, not looking too hot, man. Do we even have a bearish divergence on the weekly? Yeah, we do. It's not looking good. Yeah, all the signs are just pointing towards the downside right now, huh? So yeah, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get a pretty clear idea of if this is turning into a 1, 2, 3 or a WXY. If we find an established bottom here, not too deep. Ideally, the best way that we would find out if this is a WXY or not is just based on Fibonacci retracements. So let's say it does come up and retrace to the 61.8%. We ideally want this not to go to the 1.618 because that'll confuse us for a wave 3. This would be turning into a 1, 2, and then if we're at 1.618, even though that is a common target for a wave Y or a wave C, it gives us very dangerous territory that we may be entering a wave 3 of some sort. Because usually a wave 3 target, the minimum expectation is a 161.8%. And if it goes further than that, then definitely it's a wave 3. Ooh, Corey, thank you very much. If it's completely done, what about alts? So altcoins, if we go to Ethereum, let's say the bearish structure does play out. This is your likely scenario as well. That just follows the same ideal path as Bitcoin. And this would be so sad for a lot of Ethereum holders. It would be an ABC going into a wave W, WXYXZ going into wave X, if you're seeing this as a deep retracement for a double zigzag, and then an ABC to the downside. That would be your best bet. Or, I mean, if you're seeing this as a flat, which in my opinion, I think there's just like some kind of argument going as to whether this is a flat or not. I guess it can be because it did hit the 90% retracement. And I think that's like the minimum expectation for a lot of people for a flat. But to me personally, I like visually having a 100% target. And that's why, in my opinion, I think regular flats should just be completely removed, in my opinion, from the Elliott wave structures. I guess it's just there to give a basis or a foundation, but the most commonly observed, in my opinion, is the expanded flat. So I think that's why I'm treating this as a wave X, as a deep retracement for a double zigzag. It's not a combination, ladies and gentlemen. A combination could happen, but we would have to see some kind of triangle or something, since it's already a zigzag in the making here. Some kind of flat idea, I don't know. But even combination ideas, double threes or triple threes, they're very rare on the background. I also went over this, ladies and gentlemen. BTC, for example, if we go back to the range over here, I really don't know why people are labeling their wave 4 here as a possible triangle completion. It just seems strange. Definitely, this is a low. So I praise people who are seeing this as a low, and I really kind of think even if you're valid from these levels here as a possible triangle idea, where you're seeing this as a W, X, Y, A, B, C, X, and then Y would be your triangle here. Boom, boom. Then you're just being too creative, in my opinion. The markets don't see that. And that's the kind of beauty of what a lot of people actually praise for my analysis, because I apply a lot of general technical analysis and a lot of general market psychology to my the wave theory. And a lot of people, from the wave theory perspective, they think that the general markets are seeing from what we're seeing, and that's absolutely not true. These high and lows, these extreme points, should be labeled as termination points. So if any of you are labeling your wave 4 from where I'm putting it, I applaud you, because that's pretty much the best way. I'm not sure why we would see this as a possible termination point, maybe just to justify some kind of 5-wave move. I mean, you're sacrificing what could be this move here as a possible flat idea for something larger, which doesn't make sense, arguably. Objectively, there's pretty damn clear that this is a bottom here. So yeah. Mario, what's up? Welcome to the live stream, buddy. Mario, my man. Longtime supporter. I love you, man. I love you, brother. Crazy how many alts are at multi-year alts. We had no alt season at all. I agree. Five. Yeah, it is very weird, but the argument for the DXY isn't as prevalent as you may think. I think it did always have historically some kind of risk on and risk off approach to how the stock markets may behave, because if you're taking the dollar route or the dollar's dumping, theoretically you would want the dollar, or people would say the dollar's cycling into other rotational assets, right? Such as risk on assets like Bitcoin and other things. But it doesn't have to. I think that's just a theory. It's sensible. And I think that's what historically from the past, a couple of years, how Bitcoin has reacted, right? But right now, like I said, we're at a stage where we're already at such a pivotal level. Investors are just, steadily staying in their hands. I think it's reacting more to the geopolitical issues that is reacting towards Trump, for example. I think people are exiting the dollar just because, not only risk on assets, but also the dollar, because they want to put into something more shiny and gold, right? So they might put it into different currencies. So that's why, the foreign exchange markets is very important to the applicability of this current situation as well. So it's not always a situation where we may be seeing some kind of creation for Bitcoin to go up. So the dollar dumping right now, and it's not correlating. Yeah, it is kind of an anomaly. It's at this stage because historically we've seen it, bounce together with a dumping US dollar, but it doesn't always have to. There's synchronization and desynchronization happening all the time. And right now we're seeing the biggest disconnect between altcoins, Bitcoin, the dollar, and even the stock markets right now. I think Bitcoin may be reacting to stock markets the most right now if we're really trying to synchronize what's happening in the markets. This dump could be just heavily correlated with the stock market. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is just giving you another insight to what Bitcoin really is. What is it? Is it really a store of value, or is it just really working in tandem with the stock market? It's just a stronger, lower cap type of approach where you may see more opportunities when the stock market's actually going up. But if the stock market's going down, it's going to dump even harder. So something to keep in mind. Imagine the whole move was complex and it's a B or X from the left, 69K, and we're going for a C or Y, and bull market starts after that. I mean, there's a possibility. I think there is a count that I do have, which is kind of not traditional in the sense of how this could be counted. So if we pull up the this one, this idea is also possible, where we may be working in a diagonal and it's going to fake out everyone. And this would be a completely new paradigm in the markets. So for this count, we would be working in a diagonal. So this whole move up could be seen as an A, B, C into W, X, and then a 5-wave move into A, and then we may be working for B wave, and then the C wave, and that will end the wave 3. Then we get another 3-way pullback, which will be the same expectation that we have here. And then we'll create another 5-way move to the upside to complete the diagonal. And then, ladies and gentlemen, that would be the whole contracting nature of how this diagonal is being created. And that will be the end of a wave 1. And then we can be working in even a larger bear market, where this also fits very, very nicely in a perfect scenario for a bear, basically. Because if you really think about it, this can't go up forever. It can't. I don't care what your argument is. 21 million Bitcoins. We have 21 million Bitcoins and is limited supply. Really, I don't care. To be honest, I really don't care. And someone's gonna have to sell, right? Michael Saylor, I don't know, man, that guy's kind of stupid saying that he's not going to sell Bitcoin for the rest of his life. I mean, that is pretty stupid in my opinion. Same with, the US. I don't care about their cryptocurrency reserve. The markets are always right. A sell-off is a sell-off, and that is how marginal buys and marginal sells work. Bitcoin's price action functions on the basis of its previous price point, which is the previous marginal buy or previous marginal sell. The market dictates who's right. It's not Trump. It's not Elon Musk. It's not, your favorite influencer. It's none of them. And that's where this idea of a major sell-off is still on the table. It's very possible. A bird told me about a false movement in BTC right now. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means. I think we will have a pump to fill the gap once the futures opens, then continue falling to 73K. Do we have a gap on the CME gap right now? If you look at the BTC1, if it opens tomorrow, 87K. Yeah, I mean, what if it just dumps? So this would be the close price, right? The next candle would, if we're closing below, 80K, we'll create a new price. I don't know, man. It doesn't even really matter. We'll get an answer tomorrow, for sure. Oh, thank you very much, JJ. I think quick talk about XRP, especially with catalysts. So let's talk about XRP. So if we talk about XRP right now, not looking too hot, and it's following this possible pathway of what could be another ABC to the downside. we have a possibility of a completion of a W, X, and Y, and we may be working for what could be another ABC to the downside to complete a wave Y. It's looking impulsive. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going into wave A, and then a B, and then a C to the downside, and that will complete our wave 2, which is still arguably extremely bullish to the upside. Right now, there is still the possibility of having a flat idea, but this is looking not so likely anymore. Not looking too good here. Yep, it's not looking good. I mean, unless this turns into, an A, B, C, W, and then a triangle for X, and then Y to the upside for wave B, but I don't want to give any false hope. Yeah, this idea is pretty much out of the picture too. But it seems like it's either the flat idea or this one too, or the WXY. Actually, I don't want to delete that one too because it's still possible actually, but it's looking unlikely. This WXY scenario just seems like the higher likely case because if we zoom in, it does fit a pretty nice looking structure if you ask me, meaning that we have a completed WXY to the upside. We have a 3-way move into a W, ABC, really nice 5-way move down into a C for an X, and then an ABC to the upside, ABC for wave Y. That completes our wave X, and this also completed very nicely as a 1-to-1 extension. I believe it's right on target for a wave 1-to-1, where the wave W equals the wave Y. So yeah, that hit very nicely, and we're now in an impulse to the downside, what could be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this would be the A, B, C. This would be the most approachable scenario right now, just given with all these scenarios in place, right? 1 second, guys. So yeah, that would be the overall case of this WXY being complete, and that fits very nicely into the larger time frame, because if we put this into the larger time frame, it still fits a very bullish narrative structure. And again, we've seen a very strong, pullbacks along the way happening for these ranges of 3-4s, right? So maybe this 1-2 is going to range for a little bit longer, and I like this because it gives us a little bit more distribution and time to actually build it. And who knows, it might even range even longer. This WXY could be going into the first wave A, do this, and then do this. You never know. So we may be in an eternal range for the rest of our lives, basically. That's why I like XRP, because it is one of the safest coins and the most boring coins, and it just gives you more opportunity to accumulate when the actual timing comes. Hey, Eric, any update on ADA, LTC, or XRP? So I'm still accumulating Litecoin, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing new there. Litecoin I'm still accumulating for past, what, few months now, I think. Yeah, I've been on auto buy basically for the, forever. Just like I did for XRP. I've been accumulating over 2,000 days for XRP. I sold 50% at 270. I'm still holding 50% of it. I do hold another coin that I didn't share publicly, but we didn't get enough interest for that. Jonathan is asking, is XLM still bullishly aligned with XRP outlook? It's going to play the same exact way, John. It's same with XRP, basically. It's let me pull up the chart. I don't even have updated this count, actually. Yeah, I mean, we might have to adjust this. Yeah, we might have to adjust this. In fact, there might be an argument that this is not complete. Maybe a 3 has to be fitted here, 4, and then a 5 here, and this is the 3 to help offset some of the timing issue that we may have. But it's still looking quite correctively. So, I mean, if this is an A, B, C, or Most likely as a WXY, but if it does turn into WXY, you can see there's a problem here because it doesn't have this. So this is going to have to be adjusted somehow. I don't know. I think there's a possibility of a 1-2-1-2 count, and that would be the last kind of resorted thing, meaning that we'd be working in a 1-2-1-2, but that doesn't really change the outlook of how this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is, being built. So there is going to be this is going to have to be adjusted in a different way. Maybe there is a way on the micro time frames where we just fit in these series of 1-2s where we don't have a real established 3-4s on the top, because this is pushing it quite along, and it doesn't seem, this correction here doesn't seem to fit into what could be partner like for this in terms of symmetry, because symmetry is something that we want to be definitely looking for, and this definitely looks like it's some kind of higher degree being made. If that follows the same narrative, then that would be the case for the triangle idea, but it's not looking good. Yeah, I mean, just straight from an Elliott perspective, XLM doesn't look good, but XRP does. But again, since both of them are, sisterly tied, this is why I don't know even if this case is, really the case going forward, where we're creating a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside for XRP. Hi, Eric. I was wondering, the April 2021 high that you saw as a wave 3 with the following wave 4 correction, why is that out of play right here and cannot happen again this time? Okay, so April 2021 high. Let me look at that. April 21. Okay, so your question is, with the following wave 4 correction, and cannot happen again this time. Okay, maybe you're seeing it like this then. Let me try to fit in what you're trying to reiterate. You're probably seeing this as a possible A, B, C, and arguably we can fit in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completion here, right? And if that's the case, it would still be complete. It doesn't change the overall integrity of what the larger time frame is, seeing. I mean, even this is ugly, so there's just really no point. It doesn't change anything, actually. It's really about organizational skills than anything else. So I just say that the 4th wave was here, and we created a 5-way move to the upside for this 5th wave. It fits much nicer. And then we're working in a new series of 1, 2. This was a bear market. We're working an extension of the primary degree. And then we are now creating another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't change anything. The termination points is what matters. That's the overall thing that you have to take into consideration. Crypto is related to the Russell 2000. Any opinion? So what was the Russell? It's IWM, right? It depends on which ticker that you want to look at. Is it which one do you look at? VTWO? I think this is the Russell, right? Yeah, the Vanguard Russell, or RUT. Yeah, I haven't done a count on this for ages. I have this on my Motive Wave account, but if we zoom in, because you said you are interested in the shorter time frames. Maybe a possibility of a flat here. Maybe. This actually might fit into the narrative of, connecting it, but we've already created some kind of, radical move here on the weekly chart. So If this is the case, man, stock markets are going into a major bear market as well. I mean, unless this is part of a diagonal of some sort. This could be an A, B, C to the upside. We can do that as well. And that can help fit into the narrative or tie into what Bitcoin is looking at as well, right? Where we have maybe a savior of some sort come back into their territory. And then this will be the ultimate bear market. And we come back into the median range of the targets. This is a possibility if it pumps out of here now, because we do have the possibility of this being an ABC that's completed just now, right? And that 100% zone is getting a pretty self-fulfilling prophecy of a reaction right now as we speak at the 100%. So there is a possibility of a bullish continuation if something happens, right? If this is like maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5 to the upside. So we can count this as, wow, this would be insane. It'd be a 1, 2, if we just focus on this degree in itself, it could do this. So the 3, 4 from the COVID crash could be either working for one more time to the upside. That's part of what Bitcoin is also seeing. Or the 5th wave is in and it's now working in a primary degree, ABC flat. ABC flat. That would be the best interpretation of a higher degree. That keeps us in the same median range of how we're seeing this this current range. But in my opinion, I would just look at the S&P 500, man, the SPX, or even the SP 500. Those are more telling of the futures markets, and perpetual and spot markets as well. Let's look at Bitcoin once again. Let's see where we're at. Okay, just kind of bouncing here, right? A little bit. Oh man, it's ugly, man. This range here. Back up? It's barely up. What do you mean back up? It's 1%. We dumped literally 11% since last week, man, after a brutal range. What do you think of the correlation with the M2 global? I already answered that question in the last live stream. Eric, also, we didn't invalidate the macro expanded flat variation. I was not trying to tell that diagonal idea, but it's looking good too. I don't know what expanded flat you're talking about. I drew it out for you, but I don't know what you're talking about in terms of the actual connection. So I'm sorry. I mean, I think if you have a chart, then that would be best, and share it. Yo, Eric, what's your thought on LTC BTC pair? I don't look at the Satoshi value anymore for these all cap coins because it doesn't really matter. Bitcoin's moving. It's a major control factor anyways. It's going to go up when it moves against Bitcoin no matter what. I mean, it'll go down if it doesn't move against Bitcoin. Mario, what would you say we could be in a wave E of ABCDE weekly time frame for XLM? Yeah. I guess you could extend it. But yeah, that would probably be the best way to do it, but it's not looking good. It would break through so much of the price action that I don't think that this is even likely the case. I don't like to have this here. And we don't have an established lower low being built here. So this has to be treated as the ABC. So I would say just be more risk averse. Just say that it's complete. Have a clear invalidation level of wherever you're seeing it. Maybe the previous subwave D. And just say that we're entering a bear market at that point. Diamond pattern, diamond top pattern. Yo, Jose, don't look at those weird obscure patterns, man. Diamond top patterns and all that crap. It's useless junk. TA. A lot of the new people who are learning technical analysis, they try to fit in all these weird obscure like patterns, and a diamond pattern is one of them. Don't look at that. That's usually the first trap that new traders will start utilizing. Crap, guys. Am I still live? Guys, am I still live? Oh, okay, good. Whew. I kind of freaked out there. Bullish invalidation. There is no bullish invalidation for XRP right now. It's just below $1. It's gonna look bad, really bad, and we might look for a different alternative of a bearish scenario, which might be this here. A, B, and then C, and this would be a B wave, and we're looking for further levels. At $1, would most likely get a bounce. I'd probably take profits at that point around $2 because the even number, and then I would probably expect another move to the downside. This would be another potential possibility, an A, B, C to the downside for XRP, which would eventually fit into a larger primary wave 1, 2. And that fits into the same idea of how Ethereum might be playing out as well. So we have to take these into consideration, ladies and gentlemen. There's really no other way to do it. You know, there's really no other way. There is if in that scenario at $1 is pretty much my last resort, and I'll probably take all my profits that I've been building on my positions here for the past eternity. And I already take profits at 270, so that's good, right? That's why I always exercise risk management. Now the next question: if the ABC plays out of the 3, 4 of the WXY, then what happens if the 1, 2, 3 of the ABC doesn't play out and the double 1, 2 and the extended fifth does? Brother, that's going to take another 20 minutes to explain. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to skip that question. I know what you're talking about, but just recap of what I said. Everyone keeps talking about the M2 money supply thing, man. I mean, do you really want to make your bets on that? I wouldn't. It's very highly sensitive from the changes of M2, but I don't know, man. I guess it does play out in terms of liquidity because I do take liquidity into consideration, I guess. But we'll see. I don't know, man. The expansion of M2, we'll see how, if there is even in any liquidity injections. Like I said, the market is the ultimate deciding factor here, man. Quantitative easing or Whatever you want, man. However you want to see it. I know Bitcoin performed very well from the loose monetary environment that we had in 2020 from the COVID stimulus, but that's about it, man. I really think it's a very, very unpredictable factor in my opinion. So in case you're a long-term holder, you should be happy. Absolutely. You should be happy if you are a long-term holder right now. Very happy. I'm happy because I'm still in profits for XRP. I'm not losing anything. Wow, so 55% of you said we're in a bull market. Wow, that's insane. Oh, okay. So for the expanded flat scenario, you're talking about this here, then this range here, right? I don't like this idea, man. I'm not sure why we keep trying to apply an expanded flat idea here. We already hit the 1.618. I mean, the very rare common target is a 2.618. But you're definitely going to be in a different position at that point. And like I said, the only way to count the C wave is a 1, 2, 3, triangle, 4 wave, 4, and then 5. That's your only way of counting it, man. And maybe that you're trying to fit in what could be this, which is this. But this is invalid anyways, because this is not a legal zigzag. What, you want to count this? You want to talk subjectivity with me? All you want, go ahead. I don't care. But this is not valid to me. This is not an ABC. You're also pushing a narrative that's very low in probability. This is not an expanded flat. It's just not the case. It's not. Maybe if this was the bottom, but that doesn't change the fact that this is still a termination point. You still need to stay above this level here. That's why we have that WXY as a more presentable opportunity than anything else. Yeah. So CSY Crypto is saying, I hate it that Bitcoin was so predictable, created a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside, but most of the altcoins didn't catch up and now they're just about to get wrecked. In my opinion, it was easy to sell BTC at top levels, but not altcoins. That's exactly the sentiment that everyone has right now. There's a lot of presentable altcoins that are very bullish, but surprisingly, it's very bad for Bitcoin. I don't know, man. Even I don't know. The connection and the strong disconnect that we're having with the markets, especially with the dollar, it can be frustrating. But that's why we had to be so well prepared for this. We had to be prepared for this, man. XRP and Litecoin is the only coins I'm in, and another altcoin that I'm in. I'm just accumulating. I don't care if the price goes down. So I'm gonna summarize Bitcoin one more time here, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure to tune in. Don't leave. Let's do another recap. But before we do, just very quickly, I don't ask much, but make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I know everyone is very frustrated with the markets, but I update the markets every day as best as I can. Okay? So Make sure you're on top of things, following my updates as best as you can. Even the top analysts, they only, upload not every day, right? I try to upload every single day. So make sure you're following me on not only on here, but also on social media, on X at XForce Global. And another thing is, if you're interested in joining the Discord membership, please join the Discord membership. The links are in the description below, and Patreon as well. We offer 2 video updates a week. They will be getting an update on Wednesday and Friday. So if you're interested in that, please don't hesitate to join that as well. There's a lot of ways to gain access to my brain. So another recap on Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, before I knock out. If we go back to the charts, it's looking like we got the possibility of this X wave being created. That's about it. ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create a longer distribution for wave X. Just moving down now. Or we don't break this low, and then this is the ABC, and then this becomes another 3 wave for wave Y, and then we do another liquidity sweep again. All same ideas lead us to the downside eventually. As you can see, if we zoom out, all 3 scenarios eventually lead to the downside. That's the way to look at it. So, hopefully that was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys in the next live stream. Thank you very much for joining me here today. I will see you guys soon. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend and starting Monday. Rest in peace for those who are working a 9-to-5 job, but thank you for joining. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Bye-bye.